Good afternoon. I have a feeling there's nobody here. Will that change? I don't know. Am I going to do the live stream anyway? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I know some people watch it back later. And sometimes the count tells me there's nobody here, but there actually is. And so if you're, I don't expect everybody to be here directly at 2 o'clock on the dot. Abby Jean is here. Okay, it's not completely a solo effort. How's it going? I feel like we haven't talked in a while, and that's okay. So it was funny though because and Thornwick is here now. Thornwick, if I'm not mistaken, you're also known as Gwen, or is that, am I wrong about that, or is that more exposure than you want to have? Anyway, ooh, I love the tree, says Abby Jean. Yes, this is like the land area because I have the kind of celestial stuff up top and I have the marine stuff at the bottom. This area is like flowers and land animals, and we actually have a flying animal. I think it's like a little gargoyle. He's adorable. Yep, says Thornwick, aka Gwen. Look at my little I believe he is a gargoyle. He's got very stiff wings. They're like got nice stiff wire in them that's you can be bent but not too easily. So you can adjust the wings, but you don't have to worry that they're going to get out of whack or fragile or whatever. He does not have a name yet. Anyway, I was just saying because it looked like there wasn't anybody here, and now it only looks like there's one person here, but obviously that's not true. But I was saying I was going to do this regardless in case people showed up later or in case people were watching it back later, like my mom did. One day I was out running around on a Saturday going to library sales, and I was gone for like 5 hours or something. And I got home and she said, that she said, I watched your Wednesday live stream. I watched Midweek Motivation on a Saturday. And I was like, why would you do that? You had like 5 hours of having your house be a sock-free zone. And she's like, well, I was sorting through some stuff and I wanted the company. I'm like, did you leave a like? And she's like, no, I didn't. And I said, really? And she says, I forgot. I'm like, sure you did. And she whipped out her computer and she says, there, I left a like. Thanks, Mom. Abby Jean says, I am good. How are you? I am pretty good. I am like behind on all the stuff I want to do. I'm so behind on reading and content creation and so on because on Thursday evening, I was looking up somebody I used to be friends with, and I read some kind of strange news about her, like she made the news. And so I spent the next 4.5 days, 5 days, I guess, because I finished like last night, just going down this absolute rabbit hole of like legal documents and having to like figure out what they meant because I do understand some legal terminology, but it's a very superficial layman's understanding. And I needed to kind of try to understand the nuance a little bit better. So I learned a lot, not just about her particular issues, but just in general. And it was not a waste of time by any stretch of the imagination, but it was intense and it was a lot of work and it was very time consuming. So I did not actually do any book reading and I didn't do any content creation. So I'm ready. I think I've satisfied my curiosity about this situation and I'm all ready to get back to where I was a week ago. And Gwen says, Thornwick comes from A Knight in Shining Armor by Jude Devereaux. Nice. I don't think I've ever read that. I think I do have my own copy, or maybe I don't, but I mean, you can get it at the library. I mean to read it. I just haven't done it yet. Stormy's here. Hi, Stormy. Didn't have to do any errands today, or you did them already? Anyway, so yes, we did some errands yesterday. I had a book that had to go back to the library, and I did not sleep particularly well Monday night. So yesterday I was kind of out of it. And Mom's like, do you want me to drive maybe? And I'm like, that would help. So she took me to the library. She waited in the car because all I had to do was just throw a book into the book drop and jump back in the car. And she punched the gas. And we were going to go to the grocery store to pick up some fruit on the way home. But between the library and the grocery store is Neil's Donuts. So we ended up going to Neil's Donuts. And once again, she waited in the air conditioned comfort of the car while I ran in and got the donut. I mean, the donut store was air conditioned too. And I got in and she was like, just pick whatever. I trust your judgment. So I got donuts. We did not go to the grocery store and get fruit. Did them already and just happened to be on YouTube and see on. Yes. So anyway, I did not actually go to any library sales over the weekend. That wasn't because I was busy researching this other situation. It was because I just had already decided I wasn't going to do that because the libraries that were doing sales were not ones that I had had particularly good luck with in the past. And also we were having some weather and some anticipated weather, and they were kind of suggesting that maybe people should avoid driving too much. The last couple of days, they're like, please do not drive unless you absolutely have to, like, because they're concerned about like the ozone or I don't know, some atmospheric thing. They're just like, please don't drive. And I'm like, okay. I mean, we did do that quick little errand early in the morning before it got too hot, but yeah. So I was thinking we could do our 10 minutes of yuck. My 10 minutes is not necessarily yucky, although my room is a little disordered after like I spent 4.5 days researching stuff. However, it's just tidying. I don't have to do anything that's, gross. And one of the things I have to do is I'm sitting on the footstool that goes with my blue filming chair. The blue filming chair is occupied. So I got to find them somewhere they can go. Are you in a heat advisory too? I believe so. I mean, yesterday it got up to 100. That was not the real field temperature. That was not the feels like temperature. That was the actual measurable temperature. And right now, which is unusual for us, at least it wasn't as humid as it usually is. It wasn't as dry as someplace like, say, Sacramento, but it was pretty dry and there was a breeze, but still, it was kind of like, don't go out unless you have to. Let's see, what is it currently? It's pretty warm today. And again, it's not particularly humid for once. It's currently 95, but the real feel is 107. I don't know where they get that because it's not all that humid, because that's what gets me. Abby Jean says, I've got some cleaning to do this afternoon. Okay, well, let's start with 10 minutes of yuck and we can I can address the stuffed animals and get them somewhere else. And I can do some other tidying around until the 10 minutes are up. And then we can talk some more. Does that sound good to everyone? Let me paste in the radio station. The radio station website says they're currently playing Under Pressure by Queen and David Bowie, not by Vanilla Ice. Yuck, says Stormy. It's 88, feels like 100 here. Yeah, that's not great. And Abby Jean says, sounds good. Okay, here is, oops, what did I just do? Why, I don't even know what happened. Okay, there we go. There is the River 105.9 hits of the 70s, 80s, and 90s. If anybody wants to listen to that as I listen to it. Hi, Paige. We're just about to start 10 minutes of yuck. There is the radio station, and I thought I was going to be able to do this without my reading glasses, which I don't even know where they are. It is perfect. It's 9 minutes past, so we're going to do 11 minutes of yuck just to get us to 20 minutes past even. Okay, so we are sprinting until 0020. And I'm going to put that on the screen, and I'm going to mute, and I will see you in 10 minutes. Okay, it's been 11 minutes. We're back from 10 minutes of yuck, which ended up being 11 minutes of yuck because I rounded up. Let's see what happened while I was gone. Abby Jean said hello to Paige. Paige said hello to Abby Jean. And Ana dropped by to say, hey, I am present, but have the live up on my TV while I putter around. Hi, Ana. Your TV is talking to you. Okay, so I just got those stuffed toys relocated. And so on. I did get, last week I mentioned this and then I didn't do anything about it. I got some book mail par avion, which means by airmail because it came all the way from the UK. I won a giveaway. And I haven't opened it yet because I was going to open it. Well, I wasn't sure if I was going to open it last week because I thought I might be able to coordinate with the author who sent this to me and she could be here to see me open it, but that didn't quite work out. So I just held on to it so I could open it today. So if people want to see me do that, because once again, I didn't go into any book sales, library sales, or anything like that since I haven't done that since last time. So I don't have any books to haul other than opening book mail. It was expensive for her to send it all the way from where she is in the UK. So I think the cost was in excess of the actual price of the book itself. So I'm going to have to make sure that I send her a snail mail thank you note or something. Maybe even a t-shirt. So did people get much yuck done during those 10, 11 minutes? I'm just going to blink at the screen. Yeah. So, yes. I also, while I was puttering around, I found an ornament hook on the carpet, which was good because I had an ornament that had fallen off the tree and didn't have a hook. And it was just sitting there until I could figure it out. And then I didn't really have to put that much effort into it because, oh, look, there was a hook. Uh, Maybe since people seem to be occupied, maybe what I'll do is just go ahead and segue into a 30-minute sprint so people who are currently have some momentum going can kind of preserve that. Let's see. Paige is still working through some work yuck, but hoping to get it all done today. Okay, well, why don't we just, before I start opening book mail and whatnot, let's just have another 30 minutes of stuff, productivity, chores, whatever. And that way people who are in the middle of something can just kind of maintain that momentum. And I'm not sitting here going, well, why is nobody talking to me? And it's because you guys are all busy, which is solid. Love it. Love that for you. Oh, love it for me. So I think what we can do is sprint until thingamajiggy. 5 minutes to the next hour, 55 minutes past the hour. Sounds good, says Paige. Yeah, let's do that. We'll go for a half an hour, which will get us to 5 minutes to the top of the hour. And then see how people are doing and if they have progress notes to share or questions or whatever. So I am once more pasting in the rock station. Although I might not be listening to it because I might be recording a video or taking pictures. And even when I'm taking pictures, I can't really have my attention divided like that. Abby G says, sounds good. Hands were occupied. I think that's probably true for a lot of people, like Ana watching on the big screen while she attends to chores. Okay, so we are sprinting until 0055. And I'm going to mute myself now and see what I can get done in the next half hour. Mm. Oh, shit. Yep. I wasn't muted. You heard me negotiating with the Milford Public Library. Oh my goodness. Sorry about that. Oh no. Okay, we're back for real this time. Everybody ran away. Let's see. Megan, we got a hail and farewell from Megan. She said, "Hello, I'm done my work. I'm done with my work and working on wedding stuff now." And then she was like, Suck, you are not muted. And then Ada was like, Suck, you're not muted. And then I realized that, started cackling like a hyena because I don't know, I found it funny. And Megan said, LOL, we were just worried because you gave your number out. Might want to edit that part out. Yeah, I think I will. I think I will. And then Megan added, shoot, I have to run now to take my nan home. I'll come back later. So she had a quick errand to do. I'm just glad I didn't try to call my lawyer's office because I sent her an email instead. Yes, and in case you didn't catch it from the context of the phone call, my library book did, in fact, get renewed. So, and I took a picture, and even though I was doing all of that stuff, I also managed to get a picture taken for Instagram, and that was for my Italian book, Forbidden Rapture by Violet Winspear. So, okay. This so out of practice. I haven't done anything with YouTube, no videos recorded, no live streams or anything for a week since last Wednesday when I did the live stream. Yeah. So I've forgotten everything about everything I ever knew, which wasn't, a whole lot to begin with. I totally missed S's page. I was grabbing some lunch. Well, you could have had my phone number. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Anyway, so I do have book mail I can open. I have, I'm gonna blow my candle out that I was taking a picture of, just so I don't knock it over. And I don't know, if somebody wants to talk about something else, we can do that. We can have another sprint if somebody wants. If we have another sprint, then maybe by the time we're done, Megan will be back. Oh, here's a thing I wanted to ask people to give it some thought. I haven't really decided what I'm going to do for Book Talk with Sock on Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm kicking around a couple of ideas in my head, but if somebody has a suggestion, I would welcome that. Oh my goodness, good thing you didn't call the lawyers then, says Paige. I know. Mm-hmm. I'm all for seeing some what? I just have the one piece of book mail. That's the only kind of haulish type thing I have this week. Just one piece of book mail. Book mail. Seeing some book mail. Okay, or do we want to wait until Megan has a chance to get her nan home and return, or do we not want to? I mean, she can watch it later. Calling my lawyer was kind of the culmination of all that research I had to do, because I might need to, we can wait for Megan. Let's do that. Let's wait for Megan. Meanwhile, like I said, if anybody has any thoughts about something they might like to suggest for Book Talk with Sock on Monday, like I said, I do have a couple of ideas. So, but if there's something you want me to talk about that I, just let me know. Leave a comment here or DM me on Discord if you are also on Discord. And even if I don't end up doing it this week or Monday next week, I might keep it in my back pocket for later. So just let me know if you do have an idea or a question and to what degree you wish to be credited or not. You're like, oh yes, tell everybody it was my idea, or I do not want my fingerprints on this particular train wreck. Either way, it's good. Just let me know. Or not. Again, I'm not the boss of you. So, So we could do another. Let's see. We've only been that it's the top of the hour exactly, 3 o'clock where I am. So I don't know if we really want to. Do we really want to jump into another like 30 or 45 minute sprint to give Megan a chance to rejoin us, or do you want me to just talk about general nonsense, or what are your thoughts? Because, like I said, the last like 5+ days, I have just been looking into all this legal and medical stuff, and it's fascinating to me, but I don't know that anybody else cares. I'm up for another sprint or just some chatting. I don't have that much to say right now. I'm still kind of processing all the information I've gathered over the last few days, and so I don't really have any focused chat at the moment. Um, I have also, I think I said earlier, I think this was before you joined us, Paige. I was saying how because of spending like the last 4.5, 5 days doing all that research, I am behind on both reading and content creation. So I did finish Forbidden Rapture, which was my Italy book. So I'm pretty much, now that I've taken the picture, I'm pretty much done with Italy, so I can submit my passport. I started the French book, which is one of those Harlequin Presents that is a proto dark romance, a dark romance before dark romances were a known thing, and it is captor captive. This lady goes to the south of France. She's an English lady. She goes to the south of France, and she's just showing up at a friend's house, like this older lady that she and her dad sometimes stay with. She shows up a few days ahead of her dad and a few days ahead of the schedule, because she just needs to get away from it, because she just found out that the guy she was like kind of seeing and kind of enamored of turned out to be married. She was not down with that. Anyway, so she goes to the cabin, this modest little house in the south of France, and she gets there and she sees like two dudes there, and because she sees the second dude who is an older dude, the first dude who is a younger dude, no older than she is, but not a whole lot, and he like hustles her into the house and won't let her go. And I think because they're all running around speaking Russian to each other, she recognizes the language but not what they're saying. She doesn't speak Russian, but she does like, oh, that is Russian. I think what's going to happen is that the older dude, that like he was okay with just sending her on her way until she saw the older dude. I'm thinking that because this is 1970s, this is published first in 1973 or 1974. Instead of being Russian mobsters, I think what's happening is probably the older guy is some sort of official fairly high up in the Soviet Union, and he's defecting. That's my guess, but I'm a third of the way through the book, so I don't know yet. So that's the tea on that particular book, which I don't have to hold up because it's on the other side of the room. And then I have another book for Spain, which I haven't even started yet. I don't know what I'm going to do about Spanish food. I want to get some paella, but the restaurant that has paella, I don't know if they have it to go. I guess they do. I don't know, but they don't open until 4 o'clock because they're an evening restaurant, a dinner restaurant, and it's been so hot that I don't want to go out at 4 o'clock in the afternoon to pick up dinner. And we usually eat earlier. We usually have our big meal at lunch, so maybe I'll get some flan or something. Woo! The France book sounds good, says Paige. I'm behind and need to read my France book. I did read for the other countries though. Nice. I will during the next sprint, I will grab the France book so I can hold it up. And I think the one for Spain is by Violet Winspear, who wrote A Forbidden Rapture. She also wrote The Honey is Bitter, which was the book I read for Greece. She wrote the book I'm going to read for Spain, which is called The Kisses and the Wine. Every time I make kissy noises, I always like, oh, I'm not going to do that again. And then I always like a few weeks later, a couple months later, I forget and do it again. And no, I'm not going to do that again. So look for that again in about August. Yeah, so that's where I stand on that. And I have a couple of videos I want to do. Like a couple of months ago, I recorded a tour of my sitting room, which has some books and most of my DVDs, all of them. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to reorganize my DVDs and talk about them while I reorganize them. And I did that. And I had this like framing of what else is in that room and everything. Since then, I have kind of rearranged my books a little bit and introduced a new little bookcase to that room. So basically, the DVD clip, which is the longest clip, is still accurate, still solid, stand by it, but the framing stuff isn't. So I need to kind of redo the framing stuff on that. And I want to do a video about my Harlequin Shameless Romantics, that I'm part of that influencer promotional thing that they're doing. I talked about it in a live stream, but I haven't done a video about it. And I definitely need to get cracking on reading some of those books from NetGalley, because 3 of them are being released next Tuesday. The Harlequin Intrigue, the Harlequin Historical, and the Harlequin Presents. So I'd like to get cracking on that. And I don't know if I'm going to try to do it as a vlog or just record the introduction clip and then record how I feel about the books after I've read them. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Does anybody have a preference? Does anybody want to influence the influencer? Okay. I was just prop fabric for my Italy picture, because it takes place mostly on a cruise. So I wanted to have this kind of ocean motif going on. Nice. I'm reading 9 Rules to Break When Romancing a Rake. This month just wasn't a reading month for me. Yeah, I read so much in May as part of the Ever After-a-thon. And it's not like I'm not in a slump exactly. It's just, and then, I've just been reading a lot of fan fiction online and stuff like that. And I lost my train of thought. And then, of course, like I was going to do a reset this weekend and ended up doing totally different things. So I need a reset from the reset of the reset that didn't happen. Reset Inception. I'm all for doing an intro and then giving your final thoughts on the books. Yeah. The only real advantage of doing a vlog, well, doing a vlog as I read each book, I was thinking I could just do a vlog where I just, as I read each book, I talk about how I felt about it. That's what I did for the retro romance vlog I did a couple months ago, where I read 3 retro category romances, and then I talked about each one. I did do some intermediary clips while I was reading them. The only reason I would want to do, like, maybe do an update after each book instead of all together at the end, is to help keep them separate in my own mind, because I am going to have to write reviews of these books. And it's going to be a slightly different kind of reading than I usually do, because I usually don't even bother with star ratings. I just note whether or not I read the book. And, well, I don't even note whether or not I read it on Goodreads. I just say, I read this book. So that's the advantage of doing just like filming the intro and then just filming a follow-up clip for each book separately as I finish the books, because that way I think it helps me figure out what I'm saying. And then I just, unlike a live stream, I can edit out the rambly bits. I'm trying to fold this piece of cloth. It's just a little bit too big to do it while I'm sitting down. Yeah, so anyway, so for those of you who are just joining in, what we're doing right now is, I don't have any books to haul. I have 1 book to haul. I have a piece of book mail I haven't opened yet. And I'm going to open it after the next sprint, because we're hoping, Megan was here and then she had to step out to run an errand. We're hoping that she'll be back. And I mean, she said she's going to be back, and I can open the book mail once she's here. So let's take a look at the time. Okay, so how about we sprint until 40 minutes past the hour, 20 minutes to the next hour. and that'll be 30 minutes. And let's see, I think, yeah, here is the link to the radio station. I don't think it's a hyperlink. Maybe it is. If you want to listen along, you're going to have to cut and paste, I think. I'm not sure. And Paige is like, sounds good. Let's sprint. She says, oh, I asked for chatter, but I didn't expect that much of it. Okay, so we are sprinting until 0040. Oops. Okay, and now I think I really am muting myself. Okay. Hi there. I don't know how many people are here right now. Sometimes it says one, sometimes it says two. Kristen of the Never Ending TBR in Kristen's Corner. She's been posting at least one vlog for her the summer read along she's doing, and I haven't watched it yet, but I definitely intend to. She said I wanted to hop in and say, hey, Kristen. And I responded at the time, hey, gonna do a book mail in a bit. Hope you can stick around. So I don't know. It shows that there's only one person here. So again, not always accurate. Anyway, I think I finally got a start on my Harlequin video. Many false starts and then one that's pretty solid, but it's only part of the introduction I want to do. So Paige says she's still here. Awesome. Thank you for being here. And it looks like somebody else is there. I don't know. It doesn't look like Megan has returned because I think if she had, she would have said so. She is communicative like that. Anyway, so like I said, I finally got part of that introductory clip done. Part of it was just like getting over the introduction and everything because again, it's been so long since I've done it, and my head has been in a different part of the world entirely, in a different, kind of zone of activity for a while. So it's taken a little bit to get back in the swing of things. That's perfectly fine. Oops, just wanted to check something really quickly. And okay, nothing to worry about there. Yeah, so I got that done, but it took me a while to get set up. I don't remember. Yeah, I was running around picking things up, putting things away. I already talked about most of the physical objects that I'm dealing with. I talked about my Escape the Ordinary notebook, and I have 2 pink pens now, and my Mentos. This is important to the Harlequin experience for me. Paige says, I can't wait to watch it when you post it. I'm not sure how soon it's going to go up because I have to read the books, of course, and that's part of it. But I also have to get the books read I like to get the books read by the 1st of July because that's when they're coming out. YouTube isn't really a big part of their promotion for this, but, it's what I do, among other things. And also there's they have one of the books I selected Harlequin Presents, Harlequin Intrigue, Harlequin Historical. And I also selected one that's not part of one of their publishers series. It's not like part of the Harlequin Presents or whatever. It's a mafia college / new adult romance. And that one's coming out on July 7th or 8th, whatever the second Tuesday in July is, which will be the 8th. So I also want to get that one read. Maybe I'll fold it into that video as well. Yeah. Well, I think if I wait to do book mail until like everybody's here, I'm going to be here for a good long while. So what do we think? Should I do book mail? Or should I give Megan another 15, 20 minutes? Because I can sprint for a while because I'm just going to be trying to record that video and do that kind of thing, which I'm going to do whether or not I'm doing live as well. So it's not like I'm just like waiting until I can get into my cozies and climb into bed or anything like that. Gwen wants to know, what is it with mafia romance? I personally think that we've all decided this whole millionaire and billionaire romance thing. I think we've decided that, wow, you really can't have that much money and also be an ethical person. So why don't we just embrace the darkness? That's my personal theory. I don't know whether or not it's that's the phrase I'm looking for. I don't know whether it has any, but that's what I'm going with. We all just figure having a lot of money is kind of inherently unethical. So we're going to experience that as mafia. Paige says, I do enjoy a good mafia romance. I think I actually want to pick one up next month. I can go for another sprint to give Megan a little more time. Yeah, let's do that. Let's give it, this time, let's just do 20 minutes until 5 past the hour. Let's do that. So we are, let me paste in this. I'm not going to be listening to the radio though, because I paste in the radio station. I did get a chance to listen to a little bit of it. I don't know why I'm having, okay, there's nothing to paste. Well, I'm not going to be listening to the radio because I'm going to be recording video. I did get to listen to a little bit of like Live and Let Die by Paul McCartney and Wings, and what was the other one? Free Fallin' by Tom Petty, which is a couple songs I really like. So I'll go ahead and paste it in. So I might pick it up on the other side, or I might finish filming early, recording early. Okay, so we are sprinting. Oh, for crying out loud. My fingers are just flopping all over the keyboard doing all kinds of words. Sprinting until 0, 0. Why? I must have a bad angle for this keyboard because I just keep doing things I don't mean to do. Okay. Hopefully I'm actually muting myself this time, and I will see you in about a little less than 20 minutes. Okay, and we're back. And so is Megan. And I see I have an exciting array of comments to catch up on. And I got my video recorded, or at least the part that I'm doing before I read the books. Megan came back and said, "Hey guys, wow, you guys didn't have to wait for me." And I'm like, didn't we? Didn't we though? I know I feel better for having waited. And Paige says, "Hey Megan, I'm so glad you made it back." And Megan says, "Me too." Okay. And then she's like, "I see we're looking at books after." And Paige updated her by saying, "Yes, Sock is going to share her book mail with us. Hope all the wedding planning is going well. The big day is almost here." "Oh, cool," says Megan. "Thanks. I'm currently finalizing some DJ stuff." And that's when Paige asked the question we all want the answer to, or at least I do. "Nice. You don't have to share if you don't want to, but is there a specific song or songs you want played?" And she said, "Not really. Oh, we have a mix of pop, classics, and country. Nice. I'm just finalizing and picking songs for cake cutting, entrances, etc. LOL. Oh, so many little decisions have to be made. Do you have like a choice yet for first dance, or is that something you want to keep under wraps? Or anyway, just curious." Yeah, actually, there aren't a whole lot of books to talk about. There's just the book mail. Because I did not go to any book sales over the weekend or at all since last week. So, oh, I don't know if you were here, but I was also saying if anybody has any suggestions for things that they would like to see me talk about on Monday night's Book Talk with Sock at 7 p.m. Eastern, let me know. Put it in the comments below or on Discord. If you're on Discord, DM me. I do have a couple of ideas, so it's not like I am like totally boned if you don't have any suggestions. But and if I don't do it, maybe I'll keep it in my back pocket for later. Just leave the comment, like I said, down below, or DM me on Discord, and let me know to what degree you want to be credited or not for the idea. Are we ready for the book mail all the way from the UK? Oh, I put all my camera stuff away. I was gonna like simultaneously record a short so that I could uh, share it with the person who sent me the book, the writer who sent me the book, but I forgot. Little package opening ASMR. This was a giveaway that I won. I think it was in the last Wake Up to Romance that B did, and I co-hosted, and I also won the giveaway, as did Wyoming and Silly. And it is You Make My Heart Stop by Becky Hunter. And she personalized it. She addressed it to Sock. Thank you, Becky Hunter. And it is lovely. It is how long is this thing? This thing is 362 pages, and it does include a reading group guide. A young woman must decide between her life on Earth and her soulmate, who she can only be with in the afterlife, in this poignant exploration of loss, love, and fate. I'm having trouble reading because it's dark in here. I got those. I got very heavy blackout curtain liners. I had heavy curtains anyway, but it was still every time I try to film, there'd be this big blob of bright gray in the background. As you can see, it's much darker now because I got those blackout liners. The other thing that happened is my room is much cooler now, which is very nice when we're having like these 90 and 100-degree days. My room used to be the hottest room upstairs, and now it's like the coolest. So Okay, let's see if I can get enough light going on here. Okay, for years, Emery has lived with a condition that means her heart could literally stop at any second. While her friends and family try too hard to protect her, Emery refuses to live in perpetual fear. Besides, she has a secret. When her heart stops, Emery actually dies, and that's the only time she can see Nick. Nick is Emery's constant, excuse me, is Emery's constant, the man who exists in the space between life and death, helping souls cross over to whatever comes next. Usually, he meets people just once for a fleeting moment. But Emery and Nick keep meeting, keep tilting each other's worlds and pushing the limits of their time together. Every brush with death brings Emery closer to a soulmate she can never have while she remains alive. Yet the universe seems determined to prove it still has a few surprises left for her. First kisses, second chances, and unexpected world changing opportunities. Emery could finally have a chance at a real future, but how can she give up the love of her afterlife to seize the life she has now? You Make My Heart Stop by Becky Hunter. I'm just picturing, like, if this were fanfic, this would be like Dean Winchester from Supernatural and Tessa the Reaper from Supernatural before she got weird. Anyway, so that was my book mail. And I got my video recorded to my satisfaction. Well, I think I did. I haven't watched it back yet. But like I said, there were some fits and starts there, which isn't too surprising considering that it's been a while since I've done that, since I've tried to record a video. I did do a couple in there somewhere that were fine, but I'm really kind of out of practice. So I knew it was going to take a few swings before I could actually connect. So, but I did, and I feel much lighter for it. Not that I was stressing unduly about it, but it's kind of nice to feel accomplished. Well, it's been a little over 2 hours, and I was thinking of maybe winding it down. Does anybody have anything they want to say or to share or to ask or to answer or anything before we throw it in for another week? I just kind of have that awkward pause while I give everybody a chance to respond if they are moved to. There we go. Oh, it's so quiet. Well, I feel kind of awkward just kind of ending things without anybody having anything to say, but I guess that's what I'm going to do. So, thank you as always for joining me, either live or watching it back later. Like I said, Monday night, which is the 30th. Monday, June 30th at 7 p.m. Eastern is when I will be hosting Book Talk with Sock. And I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do yet, but I have a couple of ideas that I'm trying to finalize in my head. Or, like I said, if anybody wants to make suggestions, always welcome. And of course, I will be back here next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern for a midweek motivation. And thank you again for joining me. And I hope everybody has a great week. Bye.